All right, boys and girls, it's time for math today. Today's math, we're going to go back to word problems. And I know we've already talked about these comparative word problems before, but now for our drawing, we're going to kind of do a mock tape diagram to help us with really understanding what these questions are asking us. We're definitely going to be doing our read, draw, write strategy to really break apart these word problems. But our models are going to help us get the answer quicker. It's definitely going to help you show your work. And it's doing a mock tape diagram is going to help build that base foundation for you guys to really get used to using those tape diagrams for later on, because you do use them a lot in your older years. And so kind of understanding the number sense with it is going to really help us. So I'm going to be giving you some of the Eureka math pages like we would have done in class, but I'm going to kind of do the classwork page with you. I'm also going to send it to you so you can do it with me in this video and do it with me. And then I'm going to send you the homework page, which is going to be very similar, just different numbers and different names on there basically. But you can go ahead and print out our classwork page, the lesson problem set, and we can get started. We're going to be on the first problem, okay? So our first problem, here is our word problem. It says, Peter has 3 goats living on his farm. Julio has 9 goats living on his farm. How many more goats does Julio have than Peter? Okay, remember our read, draw, write strategy. We read it 2 times. The first time we're just reading it to kind of understand what's going on and paint that picture in our head. Now, the second time we read it, we're going to really go back through and underline those facts, those numbers, and those keywords, okay? So Miss Bowden wrote the story out here so I can show you how we're going to be doing that. So we know so far our story is talking about goats. Peter has some, Julio has some. The question is going to ask how many more. Well, that's a big word in today's lesson, okay? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to write a few words down on this sheet of paper right here, because these words are super important for us to know for these next coming lessons for math. So we need to pay attention to these sayings. Okay. How many more? How many fewer? We can substitute the word many for much. How much more? How much fewer? Okay. So let me write the word many, and then in parentheses I can also write the word much, because we can change out the word much. We can change out the word more. But these are some key phrases in our questions that's going to tell us what we're going to be doing, okay? So when we say how many more, that means that somebody has got more than me, and I need to know how many more do they have. Like if Miss Bowden has got 5 M&Ms and you have 2 M&Ms, who has more? I do. I have 5 and you have 2. I want to know how many more do I have? Well, if you have 2 and I have 5, I know I can take away 2, and that shows that Miss Bowden's got 3 more M&Ms. Or I can do the same thing. If Miss Bowden has 5 M&Ms and you have 2 M&Ms, I want to know how many fewer do you have? When I say the word fewer, I mean less. That means somebody has less. Well, if you have 2 M&Ms, you have less than me, because 2 is less than 5. But how much less is it? So if you have 2, I'm going to take away 2 from my big number, and that's going to say you have 3 less M&Ms, or I have 3 more M&Ms. We can use them interchangeably, and we'll show you that in our stories. So how many more, or how much more, how many fewer, how much fewer? These problems are always going to mean one thing. When we look at it and we break it down, it's going to mean to subtract, to take away, to find the difference, okay? So let's get started with this problem. Let's reread it. Peter has 3 goats living on his farm. What is important in that we need to underline? Very good. 3 goats. We know Peter has 3 goats. Julio, remember, if you can't pronounce the name, just say his first letter, J. J has 9 goats living on his farm. What is important in that? J has 9 goats. So let's underline those 9 goats. Okay. How many more goats does Julio have than Peter? Keyword Miss Bowden just taught you. We're going to circle. How many more? How many more goats does Julio have than Peter? Okay. So if it's saying how many more does Julio have than Peter? Well, how many more means that somebody's got more. Who has more? Julio or Peter? Julio has 9, Peter has 3, so Julio has more. So we want to know how many more he has than Peter. How much bigger is 9 than 3? That's what that's asking. How much bigger is 9 than 3? So here's what we're going to do. We're going to draw it out. We read it. Now we're going to do the D, the draw. Okay. So we want to know how much more Julio has than Peter. So let's put a J for Julio. And let's do a P for Peter. Here's where we're going to draw our story. All right, how many did Julio have? 9. Very good. Julio had 9. So I'm going to draw 9 circles very neatly. Okay, I drew my 9 circles. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. All right, the P stands for Peter. How many goats did Peter have? 3. What do you think we're going to do? Okay, now when we draw these 3, we need to draw them directly underneath because it's for a reason. So draw them the exact same size and directly underneath. Okay, so we know Julio has got 9. Peter has 3. We want to know how much bigger 9 is than 3. Well, to do that, we're going to match up. Because if Peter's got 3, Julio also has 3, plus he has some more. So I want to match up to basically take away the ones that I know are the same. So Miss Bowden's going to turn around and redo it nice and neatly. So I basically matched up. Now I can see, and I'm going to circle it or box it off, how much more Julio has. Because if Peter's got 3, Julio also has 3, but Julio has some more. He's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 more. So what we did, we can write our equation. Julio had 9. We took away Peter's 3, and we were left with 6. Julio had 9. Peter had 3. We took them away, and what was left over we boxed off, which was 6. And I'm going to also box off my answer of 6, because remember, our answer in our picture, what we box off as well, so we know. Now we need to write, well, we wrote our equation, now we need to write our sentence. So how many more goats does Julio have than Peter? Julio, because remember, he had more goats, has 6 more goats. Simple sentence. Julio has 6 more goats. Perfect word problem right there that we did together. Let's do another one together. Let's do the second one together. The second one says, Willie picked 16 apples in the orchard. Emmy picked 10 apples in the orchard. How many more apples did Willie pick than Emmy? Okay. I also have it written down here for us. Let's read it a second time to go back and underline. Willie picked 16 apples in the orchard. What is important in this sentence? Willie picked 16 apples. I'm going to underline that 16. Very good. Emmy picked 10 apples in the orchard. What's important here? Emmy picked 10. Yeah, Emmy's got 10 apples. Very good. Okay. How many more apples did Willie pick than Emmy? What's an important key word in here in this question? How many more? Very good. Remember, how many more? How much more? How many fewer? How much fewer means to subtract. So, I'm going to circle how many more. But also what I want to know is how many more Willie than Emmy? Willie than Emmy. Which means who had more? Willie had more. So I want to know the first one, Willie. How many more apples did Willie pick than Emmy? I want to know, Willie, what's the difference? How many more did he pick? So let's do our drawing. We're going to put a W for Willie and an E for Emmy. Okay, how many did Willie pick? Willie, 16. Let's draw 16 very nice and neatly. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Look how Miss Bowden drew it. I drew it in groups of 5 to help me count quicker and easier when I look at it. Okay, Emmy. How many did Emmy? Emmy picked 10. Let's draw 10 now. Remember, when we draw our 10, we need to draw it directly underneath to make sure we're able to match them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay. So we know 16 is bigger than 10. Willie had more. How much more? Let's match up to take away. So remember, we're going to match 1 and 1 and cross off. So we're going to basically imagine 10 of them because Emmy had less. So if Emmy had 10 and Willie had 16, we definitely have 10 in the number 16. So we need to cut them out and match them because we don't want them to have that same amount. We know there's extra and we want to know how many extra. So I marked off all my 10 that Emmy had with Willie. And we know Willie had more, and this is showing us how much more. So how much more did Willie have? 6 apples. Very good. Let's write that equation. We started with Willie, the bigger number. Willie had how many? 16. We took away what Emmy had, all of what Emmy had. And how much did she have? 10. We took that away by matching up. And we were left with Willie's leftover, 6, which we boxed off. So how many more did Willie have? Willie had 6 more because Willie had more. And if we match up how much him and Emmy had in common, we know Willie had this many extra, which means he had that many more. So let's write that in a sentence. Willie had 6 more apples. Boom, done, simple. Just like that, quick and easy. All right, here's another one. It's gonna change it up a little bit, okay? But you're gonna rock it, it's gonna do good. Here's our problem. Lee collected 13 eggs from the hen's barn. Ben collected 18 eggs from the hen's barn. How many fewer eggs did Lee collect than Ben? Okay, how many fewer? So let's read it again. Of course, Miss Bowden has it written down, so let's talk about it. Lee collected 13 eggs from the hen's barn. What is important here? Lee collected 13. Lee Actually, I'm going to start underlining the name to go with it. Lee collected 13. All right, next sentence. Ben collected 18 eggs from the hen's barn. What's important? Ben collected 18. Very good. Ben collected 18. Okay, our question. How many fewer eggs did Lee collect than Ben? Okay, so this one doesn't say how many more. It says how many fewer. How many fewer means that somebody collected less and they want to know how much less. What's the difference? So how many fewer is the same thing as how much more, but it's just going to start out with the person who did the smaller amount. Lee to Ben. So we're talking about Lee mainly. So let's draw our picture. L for Lee, B for Ben. Very good. L for Lee, B for Ben. All right, how many did Lee have? 13. Draw it nice and neatly. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Again, I started doing it in groups of 5, so it's easy for me to see. Okay, let's do Ben. How many did Ben collect? 18. When you draw Ben, draw them underneath and match it up. You know that 18 is bigger than 13, so keep going on the side. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. Okay, there's Ben's. All right, we want to know how many fewer Lee had. So we know Lee had some. We know Ben had more. We want to know this difference. How many more could Lee get to match with Ben? So let's first take this and let's match it up to see how many more Ben's got. Because how many fewer is the same as how many more? It just means that Lee needs this same amount to catch up. So we're going to do the same thing and match up. So I'm going to match up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. I'm going to match up all of Lee's 13. So really, I'm taking away 13. And what am I left with? This amount. I'm left with this amount. Now, how many fewer? Lee's got this amount fewer. So I'm still going to circle that. Even though it's not by Lee, how many more and how many fewer mean the same thing. We're still taking away. This is how many fewer Lee has. So Ben has this many more. So when we write our problem, can I do 13 minus 18? No, we start with the biggest number of 18. And then we take away our Lee's number of 13, and we're left with 5. But when we write our answer, we don't say Ben had 5 more. How many fewer eggs did Lee collect? Lee collected 5 fewer eggs. That would be our sentence. Lee collected 5 fewer eggs. Just because we could say Ben collected 5 more eggs, but the question's saying how many fewer did Lee collect? So we need to say Lee collected blank fewer. Whereas on the other ones, we said blank collected more because that was what the question was asking, more. Even though it's the same strategy, same boxing off, same way of doing it, we got to just use the words in the question to help with our sentence. So it's all the same thing. We're taking away and matching up. We're just using different words for that one. Okay, last one for practice today. I'm going to pause a little bit so you guys can answer as we're doing it, but here's our problem. Shanika did 14 cartwheels during recess. Remember, if you don't know her name, just say S. Kim did 20 cartwheels. How many more cartwheels did Kim do than Shanika? Okay, here we go. Second read. S did 14 cartwheels during recess. What is important here? Very good. S did 14 cartwheels. All right, Kim did 20 cartwheels. What's important there? Do you have Kim in 20? Question, how many more cartwheels did Kim do than Shanika? Do a circle. How many more? And then the first name, Kim, then Shanika. How many more means start with the one who did more. Kim, Shanika. So start with Kim. What am I going to do for my drawing? K and S. Good job. Good job. Okay. How many am I going to draw for K? 20. Let's match it. Did you draw yours in 5 group circles as well? Good job. Okay, what about S? What am I drawing for S? 14. How do I have to draw them? Right underneath. Very good. Very neat. Just like that. Does yours look similar? Good job. What's my next step? Match them off to cross off. Very good. So we're going to be matching them. Let's do it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. You should have all of Shanika's marked off. And then your answer boxed off. Very good. So the question, how many more did Kim do Shanika? Well, we know Kim had more. This much more. What is that? 6. Very good. So what's going to be my problem? Start with your biggest number. 20. 20 minus Shanika is 14. Gave us 6. What we have boxed off. Very good. All right. What's my sentence going to be? How many more cartwheels did Kim do than Shanika? Kim, because that was our first name that in our question, did, how many did she do? Not 20, remember. How many more? 6. Kim did 6 more cartwheels. Kim did 6 more cartwheels. Remember, because that's your answer. Good job. Awesome job. Okay, so we just did the worksheet together. So Miss Bowden is also going to send the homework, which looks just like the worksheet with 4 problems for you to practice. Now, ignore that in the corner because that's not how Miss Bowden does it. I don't like just doing the numbers. I like it better when we draw our pictures like this, because it makes it easier for you to understand. So draw your pictures like Miss Bowden did. If you have any trouble on some of the lower ones, don't stress out. Numbers 1 is easy, 2 is easy, 3 and 4 get a little harder, like in today, they got a little harder. So as you go down the worksheet, the problems get a little bit harder. Make sure you use your brain a little bit more. So it's okay if you can't complete the bottom part. If you want to try it, go for it. But if it's stressing you out, don't worry about it. Definitely do numbers 1 and 2 for practice. But because we did this worksheet, you should be able to do that worksheet for your homework to practice on your own, just because it kind of goes with the worksheet we already did. So come back and play this video to see how to do it. Just change up the numbers, okay? I think you guys are going to do great, and I can't wait to see your work. I wish I was in school teaching this with you in our small groups, because I love teaching this stuff. It's so nice. But have a great day. Have a beautiful day. May the 4th be with you, and go watch Star Wars today and celebrate Star Wars Day. Bye, guys.